Tonight we want to talk, and I want to talk about the plan, which I believe is a magnificent plan, a very ambitious plan, unique, and one that speaks to what we learned in Rio 20 years ago. The plan came about for the following reasons. There's a lot of pressure put on jurisdictions that have natural resources, as we do, to develop these resources. That was one of the elements that was part of wanting to develop a plan, and a cohesive plan for Northern Quebec. The second one is concern for our natural environment and the impact of climate change in particular, that we are witnessing at a very rapid speed in this part of Quebec. The third reason was that we wanted, and still of course, this is what we want through the plan, we want development that will be to the benefit of all Quebecers. Development that will be cohesive, coherent, development that will not only be an economic development, but also a social and environmental development. A very broad outlook of what actually development is and should be. So the idea is that the development happened for all Quebecers, but I want to stress that those for whom we want this development the most are those who live in Northern Quebec. And there's only 120,000 people who live there. This landmass, by the way, is 72% of our territory. It is twice the size of France. You can see it there on the map. It's 1.2 million square kilometers of land. And only 120,000 people live there. Among those who live there are First Nations and Indians. The Cree represent about 16,000 people. They live in the middle part, the lower part of the north. The Inuit, that some used to call, another time, it used to be called Eskimo, but they are the Inuit, live in the northern part, around the crown of Quebec, around the shores. And then a little to the western part would be the Naskapi, which is a population of about 1,000. And then in the southern part again, there are 3 Innu communities that are on the territory of the Plan, and they must represent somewhere, I think, in the area of about 2,000 people. And then the non-native population, of course. There are 62 communities. 32 of them are native, and 31 non-native. Native and non-native, split about half and half. Now, what is the plan about? We went about preparing the plan. You remember I spoke a moment ago about how we need to get people involved. We had almost 2 years of very broad consultation with stakeholders in preparing the plan. And that includes those who live in the north, First Nations, communities directly involved, non-native Quebecers who live in the north, environment groups, the mining sector, the forestry sector, local officials who are elected. It was a very broad, very, very comprehensive consultation. 400 people participated in the process. A number of groups were put together to be able to look at very specific issues, including Suzanne chaired one group dealing with environmental development, for example. These groups worked for 2 years, and what we delivered was a common vision over a 25-year development, which over the 25 years, what we provide for and what we see on our radar screen is $80 billion of investment. $47 billion would be in the area of energy, clean renewable energy, hydro in particular, 3,000 more megawatts of hydro, 300 megawatts of wind power, and another 200 megawatts of other renewable types of energy. What we also see in this future is $33 billion of investment in mining, infrastructure, and social development. So the plan is a very broad vision. We are seeking investment. We do want mining development. We want forestry development. We want it to be done in an orderly and a balanced way that respects the principles of sustainable development. And that's why we've taken a long-term view on how we want this investment to happen. That